Okay, so a very warm welcome to all of you here in the room. Thank you so much for joining us from near and far. And really, it's a welcome back to many of you because this is our fourth iteration of Bracing for Impact and Counting. Yay! So we have a hot topic and a stellar lineup of speakers and chairs, a formidable keynote, and innovation showcase all in between, and to close it all off, a reception. So I think you're in for a treat. So you picked the right ticket. So thank you. Now, I'm Professor Pina D'Agostino, and I'm your conference chair and one of the organizers for today, along with Professor Aviv Gaon. Hi, Aviv, welcome. Of course, coming from Reichman University in Herzliya. So thank you for joining us live. And Professor Ian Stedman from York University. So we've been at this now for several years together, so we're kind of the neural network of this place. You'll be hearing from both of them, of course, a little later in some of the panels. Now, we're thrilled to host a fully in-person event, and we were quite adamant about this because we truly want to celebrate the human-centered approach to all things AI. Of course, we need longevity, so we will be recording today's event, and that will be made available on all of our websites in short order. Now, this year, we joined forces with Connected Minds, and this is thrilling. This is the new, incredible $318 million program thanks to incredible funding from our federal government. So CFREF, Canada First Research Excellence Fund, Connected Minds, and our title is Neural and Machine Systems for a Healthy, Just Society. So York University and Queen's University were the lucky recipients. 11 programs were funded, and we were one of the fortunate ones. And as of March 1, I've been promoted to the role of director of the fund. So it's been a little busy, but thrilled to be working with so many of you. And we have an incredible team who are really excited to engage with our community, which is a case in point of why we're here. We wanted to really do outreach and be in the place of innovation, and no better place than this. Now, Connected Minds really seeks to integrate three pillars. We call them pillars, but of course they're really core areas. So it's neuroscience and behavior, society, and intelligent systems, intelligent technologies. And we have more than 50 partners on board, and we're counting because we're looking forward to more partnerships and growing that. And I'm looking to Herb, who's smiling because, of course, he's the head of partnerships at Connected Minds. So our work is really done together. We have a co-creation approach where the academy has to be connected with industry and community partners. And that's how we really want to do transformative change and innovate and make the world a better place. And really core to Connected Minds is our work to lift up underrepresented communities, and Indigenous peoples are one of those communities that are close to our heart, and I'm pleased to say it's very innovative also from a governance perspective that we have an Indigenous Advisory Circle, which plays a pivotal role within Connected Minds. Now, today's conference is truly that important step to help advance our Connected Minds mission with many of the panel themes that we have sprinkled throughout. And you'll get more a flavor of who we are as the day passes. And also, I'm looking here to my right, Program Director of Connected Minds, Caitlin Mullen. She'll be providing some project highlights later in the day. So the idea is for you to get to know us as we get to know you. And we have a nice setup for that and some good food along the way. Now, I'm also delighted to host today in collaboration with York University's newly minted Center for AI and Society, affectionately known as CASE, where there I serve as the inaugural co-director with my colleague, Professor James Elder, and you'll be hearing from James later in the day. At CASE, we really work to unify the incredible community of scholars across the university, but bring them together around the social and technical expertise areas within the university on all things AI. Now, today is also a collaboration with the IP Innovation Clinic, and that's based at Osgoode Hall Law School and is close to my heart. It's really Canada's. We just got actually the banner done for today, Canada's largest pro bono legal clinic. We started that back in 2010, and we've set up an innovation showcase to show off some of our startups alongside those of others from OCI, 111, MyTax, NL Patent, and the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance. Now, no conference of this caliber can be done without support. And here I could not be more grateful to the indispensable support and leadership from Microsoft Canada. So I have to say, Microsoft has been with us, is truly our founding sponsor, and has been with us from the very beginning in 2018 where we started. So I couldn't be more grateful for that vision and leadership and support, and I'm looking at Nadine Letson. So Nadine is head of corporate, external, and legal affairs at Microsoft, and she's been just a force within Microsoft and tremendous partner to work with. So thank you so much, Nadine. You'll hear from Nadine a little later in one of the panels. Now, here I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the timeliness of today. So what's tomorrow? Yay! It's International Women's Day tomorrow, and it's one of my favorite days of the year. See, that's queued up too. Now, I'm pleased to say that we've assembled a stellar group of women leading the way in many diverse fields related to AI for a healthy and just society. So I've already mentioned a few women, and I take this moment to really honor and salute each and all of you here today for your unique and diverse voices on these critical issues. So next, please. Now, there are more thank yous, so please bear with me because you really couldn't put something like this together, which is no picnic, right? Indeed, when I organize these events with my team, I like to say that it's like always a mini wedding. The only thing here is that we don't get to elope. We need to stick through it. So we're here, and it's truly a labor of love. And there are so many people behind the scenes dedicating countless hours. And on the break of dawn, and yesterday and before, and where is Sandra Milani? There she is. Sandra, come out here. So Sandra's been incredible. She's the center coordinator at CASE. And also Joe Turcotte. Joe, amazing. So Joe is the assistant director of the IP Innovation Clinic, and he's incredible and so glad that he's back also at York University working with us. Now, also alongside them, I'm immensely grateful to the Connected Minds team, and I mentioned Caitlin, our program director. There's Elena Fisher. Where's Elena? She's outside. Probably Anita Haidari. And really for all of their assistance in putting this together. We just had a retreat. So we're just closing a year of Connected Minds. And it was a 2-day retreat, which was also another wedding. We go from wedding to wedding. So they've been quite busy, but they pulled up their sleeves and made today happen. I'm grateful also to OCI and 111, and I really can't thank Claudia Priviak enough. Of course, she's the president and CEO at OCI, and for her vision and leadership and hospitality here. I thank 111, and there's Chris Greenfield and Nicole Lewis for being so welcoming, and on all things communication. Back to 111, we have Alicia Pereira. I don't know if she's here, but she's been awesome. There you are. Thank you so much. So that's the team that really, we had like multiple satellite teams making this happen. At York, of course, we have friends and colleagues at Y-Space, York's Pan-University Entrepreneurship and Innovation Hub, the Lausanne School of Engineering, and York's Office of VPRI. And you'll hear from some of them later today as well. On spreading the word, Guy Tamir at 2+ Studio was helpful with promo materials, and the students, amazing. Didn't you see their smiling faces when you walked in? They're really the bedrock of all that we do. All that we do is for them, and because of them, they are our future. And I'm looking at Ryan, of course, one of my former students. Welcome back, Ryan. And so I'd like to just give a shout out to our volunteers, the clinic coordinators, Ashley Lamb, Allison McLean, and Aaron Ricard, and clinic fellows, Jenny Bao, Alessia Chiappetta, and Anita Goja, many of whom will also be blogging on today's event, so the conversation will continue online. And if I could just say a quick word on the topic of today. We started this series in 2018, and really back then AI had really not quite seized the public consciousness the way it has now. And really the pace of development is rapidly escalating, and also its adoption, and we're witnessing this in real time. And so a lot has changed even since our last Bracing for Impact in 2022, right? We've had tools like ChatGPT enter the front page, and so the impact is really being felt in our daily lives. And since 2018, we've really worked to single out key themes on the AI front and really look at the impact theme, so bracing for impact, how that impact is felt in our lives and society. And this is that human-centered approach that we hold dear. So in past conferences, we focused on ethics and data governance, and even in the pandemic, we wanted to keep the conversation going and had more bite-sized webinars on issues of contact tracing and COVID-19, cyber challenges to human rights, and balancing the advances of AI with sustainability and environmental goals. So today's conference is particularly amazing in that we collide all of these different now partners with Connected Minds, CASE, the Innovation Clinic, to keep and preserve the core challenges, right, shaping the AI challenges, but we look at a healthy and just society. So it's a nice way to bring in the themes. And on the topic of a just society, I'm looking to my right. Yes, it's you, Sean Hillier. He is the Associate Director at Connected Minds, York Research Chair in Indigenous Health Policy and One Health, and Interim Director for the Center for Indigenous Knowledges and Languages. And it's very appropriate that we call him up to provide the land acknowledgement. And you'll hear from me shortly again.
So we want to start today's event by acknowledging that we are on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat. It is now home to many diverse First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples. The City of Toronto, where we gather today, is covered by Treaty 13 and the Williams Treaties. This territory is subject to the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which is an agreement to peacefully share and care for the Great Lakes region. So as we gather today on this land and we discuss how to shape the AI challenge for a healthy, just society, I remind each of you that Indigenous knowledges are deeply rooted by our connection to the land and our traditions, our languages, and our practices that encompass all aspects of our lives. Indigenous communities are now working to preserve and transmit this knowledge to future generations, with smart tech and AI playing a very vital role in this effort. Digitizing Indigenous knowledge can help in the recording, transmission, and revitalization of our knowledge and our languages. However, the use of such technologies also presents challenges, including its potential for misuse, misappropriation, and its dissemination without sensitivity, resulting in a new form of colonization. So it is incumbent upon us to understand that we each have a role to play in helping to safeguard this knowledge as a way of demonstrating our commitment to upholding these treaties that's spoken about within our land acknowledgement. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And now it is my pleasure to call up my boss, Dean Trevor Farrow from Osgoode Hall Law School, and he's also an esteemed colleague, and we started out together, and he really lives and breathes these issues, and he's really trailblazed along the access to justice front. So this conference is really fitting in his own rubric of the 10 million things he's up to. So I'd like to call him up and say a few welcoming remarks.
First of all, thank you, Professor D'Agostino. Pina, you're always a tough act to follow, even just in the morning. But thank you. I'm delighted to be here. As Pina mentioned, my name is Trevor Farrow. I'm the Dean at Osgoode, and I'm really delighted to be able to provide some welcoming comments. I think, as Pina said, this is the fourth of these Bracing for Impact conferences. They're starting to become, we really expect great things, and it's always the case. I think since 2018. So congratulations. That's not a small thing on its own. So well done. In preparation for today, I was thinking about what deans say at opening remarks at conferences. I didn't put it into ChatGPT, although I was totally tempted. But Pina also already mentioned, you're dealing with a hot topic, stellar speakers, and it got me thinking. I wonder how many conferences there might have been where a dean actually shows up and says, it's actually kind of an irrelevant conference. You guys don't really know what you're talking about. But I really look forward to the fruits of your labor. I didn't have to explore that option today because, as you know, this is it's not just one of the hot topics. It's, I think, the topic on everyone's mind right now. And I'm not going to tell a room full of experts about that topic, about that timeliness, around policing, around governing, around education, around health. It's everywhere, right? But what I can say is that I'm speaking to a lot of leaders in the legal profession right now, and I'm getting lots of different reactions because I'm spending a lot of time at the law school thinking, how are we researching and teaching not just for today or tomorrow, but as we develop that runway for the next 4 and 5 years for our students to prepare people for what's to come, right? Because I think that's the key and really interesting challenge for all educators, and in particular law schools. And if I'm summarizing the reaction from leaders in the profession, it's a combination of sort of cautious excitement. If they're honest, they say, I don't really know what's happening. And then the real thought bubble is they're freaking out because they don't really know what's going on, right? Like, what is going to happen next month, let alone next year and what have you. And I think that's on our mind. And so whether it's all the stuff that we're doing at the various law schools across the country, I know we're not alone at Osgoode. There's lots of good stuff happening. Certainly at Osgoode, we are throwing ourselves into this with full force, and Pina is a shining light and leading example of that. But with her colleagues and a number of us really thinking hard in the classroom and in education about what we're doing. But I do think that, I guess my invitation or request for today is to really dig into that question so that we can actually start exploring not just what is the exciting new shiny thing, not what can we do, because there's lots of stuff we can do, but the questions about what should we do, how should we do it. And when we think about this question from the perspective of law schools, law and justice, and the everyday legal needs of the people out there who we serve, how are we serving those in those pillars that Pina talked about? Society, those everyday legal needs, and the stuff that us and our kids need going forward. I think those are the really hard and interesting questions. And so as we explore those, I do look forward particularly to the fruits of those conversations as we try and figure this out. Pina has already thanked folks, so I know I'm standing in the way not just of the carrot cake, but of the next panel. But I do want to briefly echo her thanks to I'll start with the team. These things really are not self-executing. There's a huge group of volunteers, students, staff, faculty, who put these on, and it really is not lost on us. So thank you. Of course, to our York and Osgood partners, including Connected Minds, including CASE, including the Innovation Clinic, and including our colleagues there. And then certainly our industry and government partners. We can't do these things without you either. And Pina's already mentioned Microsoft, the government, and what have you. We are very, not just grateful, but reliant on all of your insight, leadership, and support. So thank you. And lastly, the person that hasn't been thanked, everyone else has been, but I'll just mention it now, is my colleague, Professor D'Agostino. So maybe for all of us, you know, Pina mentions these things are like weddings, and she goes to so many. You're a bit of a player. But we knew that, and thank you for all of your energy and leadership. It's terrific. So with that, good luck today. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you.
All right.
This is yours, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Okay, and now it's my pleasure to call up Claudia Kriviak, the President and CEO of the Ontario Centre for Innovation, affectionately known as OCI, will also provide some remarks. And yeah, please come.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome everyone today and to welcome the conference to 111. 111 is Canada's leading community of some of the highest potential scaled-up companies anywhere in the country. These are companies that are post-seed. They've either raised their Series A or they're in the process of raising their Series A, and they have one thing in common. They're all data-driven, and they're all leveraging AI and machine learning to various extents. And that's why this discussion is so important, because outside, not only in the 111 space, but outside in Ontario's and Canada's tech ecosystem and the global tech ecosystem, the topics that we're discussing today, these technologies are being deployed as we speak, and the rate at which they're being deployed is exponential. But it's not only exponential. If you think of an exponential curve, it's like just linear, going straight up. September 2022 is when OpenAI introduced ChatGPT. And I actually believe that was a black swan event. It was unexpected, and it did a couple of things. First of all, pre-September 2022, if you wanted to use AI, you needed to have some type of deep domain expertise. If you were a startup company that wanted to leverage AI, you would have to hire people that had a deep computer science background, or at the very least would know how to code. Post-September 2022, that is not the case. Every single person in this room on their phone, which I've left on my table, has access to generative AI capability to do everything from planning their next trip to developing an application for their company, or to even doing their job. But what happened on September 2022 was also interesting, because while on the one hand, it made AI capability, generative AI capability, accessible to everyone. So from that perspective, it almost democratized access to AI. But on the other hand, what we're seeing happening is actually the development of not only generative AI, but potentially of artificial general intelligence is being consolidated in the hands of very, very few global tech companies. And that moves in the direction that is opposite to democratizing this technology. I believe where we are right now is in the middle of a black swan event. And that's because three things. Generative AI, and then AGI, but generative AI will change jobs forever. That's a fact. There's no turning back. It will change jobs forever. It will change the notion of work forever. It will also change education and training forever. And then finally, it is blowing up big tech right now. What we see happening in the media most recently with Elon Musk and the lawsuit against OpenAI, this is blowing up big tech in ways that we can't even anticipate. And so that's why these discussions are incredibly, incredibly important. Because while all of this is happening, the metaphor that I like to use is we're building the airplane while we are flying it. And that makes no sense whatsoever. You cannot fly something that while you're trying to build it. But that's exactly what's happening in society right now with respect to where we are. So I'm really excited about the day today. I'm really excited about the breadth of the discussions that we're going to be touching on through our panels. Just want to very briefly highlight some of those discussions because I think they're so important. So the panels will be delving into the ethical considerations surrounding AI, emphasizing a diversity of perspectives, including indigenous perspectives, which are very, very important, and highlighting the importance of equity, diversity, and inclusion in these discussions. The discussions will be exploring the transformative potential of AI in content creation, and addressing what this means for the future of the media and the entertainment industries, which will be disrupted tremendously. We will be exploring how AI technologies are being applied in the healthcare and NeuroTech sectors, from the perspective of improving both physical and mental well-being. And then finally, the discussions will be examining the regulatory landscape of AI, focusing on IP and data governance and governance more generally, which is fundamentally important. I want to close by making a few acknowledgements. The first acknowledgement I'd like to make is I'd like to acknowledge the incredible work of Pina. Pina's leadership and vision in her roles across the Connected Minds Project, the Center for AI and Society Conference, and the IP Innovation Clinic have been instrumental. But beyond these roles, Pina is a member of the OCI board of directors, and having her join the board last year and having her expertise and her voice and her perspective at our board table has been invaluable. Her expertise and dedication to bridging the gap between law, technology, and society informs our strategic direction at OCI and informs our programming. So I just want to acknowledge and thank Pina for all of her contributions. And then finally, a couple of other acknowledgements. I do want to acknowledge all of the co-presenting partners today. Connected Minds, the neuro-machine systems for a healthy, just society, which is a collaborative endeavor between York University and Queen's University, the Center for AI and Society Conference at York University, and also the IP Innovation Clinic at Osgood. And then finally, I want to acknowledge the sponsor, Microsoft. It's really important to have the voice of industry at the table. And Microsoft's engagement has been invaluable. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and let's have a great conference.